Excellencies, Madam Executive Secretary, distinguished delegates, good morning. The meeting is called to order. Let us start with the consideration of agenda item 5, management issues. The document pertinent to this item are ESCAP/80/21 on the proposed program plan for 2025, ESCAP/80/22 on the overview of partnerships, extra budgetary contributions and capacity development, ESCAP/80/23 on the evaluation activities of the Commission during the biennium 2022-2023, ESCAP/80/24 on the evaluation of the Asian and Pacific Center for Transfer of Technology, and ESCAP/80/INF/2, the evaluation of the Asian and Pacific Center for Transfer of Technology. At the outset, may I invite the Executive Secretary, Ms. Armida Salcia Alice-Jabana, to introduce this agenda item. The floor is yours, Madam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Honorable Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, it is my pleasure to be with you during this deliberation on management issues. Allow me to say a few words about each document you are considering today. On the proposed program plan for 2025. The proposed program plan for 2025, document ESCAP/80/21, contains the program of work of ESCAP. The plan outlines how the Secretariat will support Member States to leverage regional cooperation to accelerate the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in Asia and the Pacific. The plan has been developed in line with the General Assembly resolutions on program planning, and an early draft was shared with the Advisory Committee of Permanent Representatives and other representatives designated by member of the Commission or ACPR. The Secretariat seeks your endorsement of the proposed program plan for 2025. Following your endorsement, the plan will be further reviewed by the Committee for Program and Coordination, or CPC, and considered by the 5th Committee of the General Assembly as part of the Secretariat's overall program budget document. We count on your government support as it goes through the approval process with the CPC and the 5th Committee. On overview of partnership, extra budgetary contributions, and capacity development, I would like now to turn to document ESCAP/80/2022, which provides an overview of ESCAP partnership and the outcomes of capacity development activities funded by extra budgetary contributions received in 2023. Strong partnerships are an essential part of regional cooperation. In 2023, we continue to be an effective development partner, collaborating with diverse stakeholders to achieve shared development goals through tailored partnership modalities. ESCAP enhanced its partnership, starting with a revamped Memorandum of Understanding with the Islamic Development Bank and Memoranda of Understanding with the Association of Pacific Rim Universities, CityNet, the International Solar Alliance, the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat, and the Secretariat of the UNFCCC. By the end of the year, the Secretariat had concluded 18 agreements, bringing the total number of ongoing memorandums of understanding to 41 and memoranda of agreements to 30. Beyond enhancing our partnership, the Secretariat also played a key role in connecting development partners with each other. In cooperation with the Thailand International Cooperation Agency, or TICA, and under the chairmanship of the Kazakhstan Agency for International Development, or KazakAid, ESCAP organized the 5th Asia-Pacific Directors General Forum for South-South and Triangle Cooperation in November 2023. The forum was attended by over 100 participants from 34 ESCAP member states and 8 observers. The theme of the forum was aligned with that of the 80th session of the Commission. In addition to stimulating discussion and a field trip organized by Thailand, the forum allowed participants to network through bilateral meetings and social events. In implementing capacity development projects and technical cooperation activities, the Secretariat has worked in partnership with countries in and outside the region. 2023 has also witnessed a diversification of our donor base. At the same time, we continue to innovate its capacity development modalities and regularly brief the ACPR on short-term technical assistance, regional advisory services, and the newly established ESCAP Visiting Fellows Program, primarily funded through the regular program for technical cooperation. Member states have responded positively to these briefings, and requests for the Secretary's support are submitted on an ongoing basis. Within 2023, a little more than 25 million US dollar was channeled to ESCAP's technical cooperation efforts through extra budgetary and regular budget sources. ESCAP will continue its outreach and resource mobilization efforts to ensure that we can support our member states in diverse areas. I invite all delegates to learn more about ESCAP's Sustainable Development Results in the new edition of ESCAP's Technical Cooperation Highlights 2022-2023, which was launched 2 days ago at the sideline of the Commission session. This publication itself is a testimony to our commitment to partnership, as it features insights from our partners on shared achievements. On evaluation activities of the Commission during the biennium 2022-2023, let me turn now to the report on the evaluation activities of the Commission during the biennium 2022-2023. Document ESCAP/80/23 is issued in support of Resolution 66/15 on strengthening the evaluation function of ESCAP. It is in response to the Commission's request for periodic evaluation of the Secretary's program of work, including the work of division, sub-regional offices, and regional institutions. It summarizes the main findings and recommendations contained in 5 sub-programs and 14 project evaluations completed during the biennium 2022-2023, and the steps taken by the Secretariat to address those recommendations. It also outlines the key steps we have taken to improve the quality and utility of evaluation at ESCAP. On the evaluation of the Asian and Pacific Center for Transfer of Technology, also known as EPCTT, finally, I would like to refer to document ESCAP/80/24 on the evaluation of the APCTT. In its resolution 71/1, the Commission decided to review the continued substantive relevance and financial viability of each regional institution every 5 years. In line with that decision, the Secretariat commissioned an independent evaluation of APCTT. The key findings and recommendations of the evaluation and the Secretariat's response thereto are contained in the document. The Commission may wish to endorse the recommendations contained in document ESCAP/80/24 and take note of the full report on the evaluation of the Center contained in information document ESCAP/80/INF/2. I would like to express the Secretary's deep appreciation to Member States, donors, as well as development partners, many of whom are represented here, for their continued support to ESCAP. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Executive Secretary, for introduction agenda item 5. Let us now consider agenda item 5A on the proposed program plan for 2025. I now open the floor for comments. I would like to remind all speakers to adhere to the time limit of 3 minutes. Longer statements can be sent to the Secretariat and will be circulated. The first speaker in my list is Delegation of Fiji. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, colleagues. And let me at the outset convey sincere appreciation to the Executive Secretary for presenting these documents that are before us for our consideration this morning. Chair, will be for the proposed work program. Fiji and our Pacific Island small island states have a number of issues that we would like to state at the outset in order to ensure that the role of ESCAP remains strong in our sub-region. The first is that our priorities have to be factored in this work program, and we've seen the priorities in there. And let me thank the Secretary for the hard work that they are doing. And the second point, Chair, the work program needs to draw inspirations from national, sub-regional, and global mandates, not only focusing on SDGs, but and financing for, and FFD, financing for development. But we feel that it needs to draw inspirations from the Samoa pathway that is very, very critical for the sustainable development of small island developing states, even though it's expiring. But SEEDS 4 is coming up next month, and I know it'll be later included into the work program. But there are some sub-regional initiatives that we would like, also for the work program to draw inspirations from. And this is something that is unique for the Pacific, which is the 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific, where our leaders have endorsed 7 thematic priority areas that will help us achieve sustainable development. The third important point that I would like to raise, Chair, is the importance of inclusivity of all programs for all sub-regions, particularly for the most vulnerable and countries in special situations like LLDCs, LDCs, and small island developing states. I'm drawing my cue from GA Resolution 78/1, where member states endorsed for an inclusive, sustainable development world, which means no one is excluded. Everyone is included in this endeavor, particularly for the most vulnerable. And the fourth point is building on the comparative advantage of our regional commission. They have to be properly, well endowed, and supported, resourced financially to deliver its work program, as articulated in paragraph 19 of the document. On the specific issues of interest to us, Chair, paragraph 7, strengthening regional and sub-regional cooperation to accelerate climate action in the Asia-Pacific region. I speak in particular of the ocean-based climate action in Resolution 79-2 that my colleagues from the Indonesian delegation and also from Maldives and others that supported, that co-sponsored this resolution to be spearheaded. And I would like to see some strong reference in that document that will enable us to balance our approaches. As you know, we are large ocean states. I shared yesterday, our land area is smaller than our ocean area, ocean coverage. So our resources are in ocean-based climate action, and we would like to emphasize that. And the second is on the Sendai Framework 2015 to 2030 Thank you for the transformative adaptation policy dialogue that will be undertaken. It is a must that member states are further engaged in this dialogue so that lives are protected, individuals, livelihoods, food, energy, and other critical systems. It is important, as we know, DRR is through the Sendai framework, is very important to us in the region, particularly for the smaller and developing states. The early development of a regional strategy to support the achievement of the early warning system for all 2027 is critical for us. As spearheaded by the Secretary General of the United Nations, we really support this work. Again, it calls for some strong partnerships to ensure that early warning for all system is attained. On the role of trade, whilst it is central to expediting efforts towards sustainable developments, I would also like ESCAP to draw inspirations from some of the work that is happening in the region. I'm talking in particular for the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, where 14 countries are part of this, led by the United States. We would like to draw inspiration from this work, because there's some work that is very advanced in terms of digital trade, paperless trade, that will strengthen the role of the Secretariat in continuing to boost the discussions on trade. Paragraph 11, the role of the private sector, yes, it's critical. Paragraph 12 on the superhighway initiative, we fully support that. Paragraph 13 to strengthen, this is a very important one for us. Asia-Pacific a plan to strengthen regional cooperation in social protection in the Asia-Pacific region to prevent poverty and reducing vulnerability, particularly to our women, our girls, and those who are vulnerable in societies. So we really would like to see strengthened work in this area. And active participations of women in decision-making, not only decision-making, but in the design of programs and in the implementation of these programs is critical for us. Madam Chair, paragraph 14, 15, and 16 also carries our support. But in conclusion, Mr. Chair, Fiji and my colleague from the Pacific Seas would like to endorse the proposed program plan for 2025. I thank you very much.
I thank distinguished delegate of Fiji for his valuable proposals. I hope and I believe that the Secretariat will take them into account. Would any other delegation like to take the floor under this agenda item? I see none. This brings us to the conclusion of the agenda item 5A. We shall now take up agenda item 5B on overview of partnerships, extra budgetary contributions, and capacity development. May I invite first the conference room officer to play a short video to highlight recent cooperation activities between the Secretariat and a number of development partners. Please.
Partnerships are both an integral part of ESCAP's mandates and an enabler for the Commission to execute core functions of intergovernmental consensus building and norm setting, research and analysis, and capacity development.
ESCAP is mission-driven, inclusive, and a strategic partner in the region.
This is very critical to have such platform to be able to bring people together, to share some of the best practices, the experience, the challenges, the successes, to celebrate those successes as well.
ESCAP brings together development agencies at the annual Asia-Pacific Directors General Forum for South-South and triangular cooperation for knowledge sharing and networking.
As a newcomer for this forum, I'm very interested to participate in such forum because it gives the opportunity not only exchange the views to get new ideas, but also to get the possibility to meet right people.
ESCAP's multidisciplinary technical and policy expertise is harnessed to find holistic solutions to complex development challenges.
UN ESCAP brings that technical know-how and network with partners, even beyond the region, which really helps us in kind of complementing our efforts.
ESCAP's contribution in analysis of the risks and policy related to climate really complements the work that the WMO does in terms of bringing a credible, science-based, evidence-based information to the people who most need it.
With its regional focus, ESCAP stands as a symbol of inclusive sustainable development, embodying a commitment to advancing technical cooperation in Asia and the Pacific.
What we liked about ESCAP is that they walk the talk. So there are a lot of guidelines, manuals, and technical knowledge available, which we were able to replicate within our local systems, and it was easy to implement because it suited our local legislation, and also to harmonize it with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities.
In 2023, several memoranda of understanding were signed, renewing ESCAP's commitments to the region and its global partners, addressing multiple overarching sustainable development goals, on jointly addressing the challenges of climate change, on promoting sustainable urban development, on achieving affordable and clean energy for all, and on advancing sustainable transport development.
Based on the experience and trust that we have collaborating previously, this will certainly pave well for other future collaboration and cooperation projects in the future.
I now open the floor for country interventions. Would any delegation like to take the floor? I see Japan. Delegation of Japan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. We consider 2023 to have been a challenging year for the Statistical Institute for Asia and the Pacific, SIAP, as not only were face-to-face training courses resumed at pre-COVID-19 levels, but also at the same time, SIAP has been required to respond to various needs in the region, including issues related to the SDG indicators. In spite of such a situation, SIAP has achieved notable and valuable results based on those needs. We'd like to express our great appreciation for these efforts by the SIAP Secretariat. I'm sorry, can we talk about the pledge at this section? Okay. So allow me to make a statement with regard to the work plan of SIAP for the 2024 fiscal year. As the host government, Japan is ready to provide contributions both in cash and in kind for SIAP in accordance with its agreement annual budgetary appropriations. In order to respond to statistical training needs in the region, including issues related to the SDG indicators, considering the importance of the role of SIAP as a statistical training institutions, for the duration of 1 year from April 2024 through March 2025, the government of Japan intends to make cash contributions of $1.891065 million US. The government of Japan also intends to make in-kind contributions equivalent to $923,734 US, bringing the total amount of contributions to about $2.8 million US. Furthermore, as part of its technical cooperation program, the government of Japan intends to offer fellowships in a 3-month training course through the Japan International Cooperation Agency. It is our expectation that contributions to SIAP, including Japan's contributions, will be used effectively and efficiently for the development of statistical human resources in each country. Thank you very much.
I thank distinguished delegate from Japan. And now I invite the delegation of the Republic of Korea. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. On behalf of the government of the Republic of Korea, we are very pleased to announce the Republic of Korea's contribution to the ESCAP program of work and regional institution for the year 2024. The total contribution will be $4 million US. As the host government of the ESCAP Sub-Regional Office for East and Northeast Asia and the Asian Pacific Training Center for ICT for Development, APC-ICT, in Incheon, Republic of Korea, we pledge the following contribution: $1.14 million US in support of Sub-Regional Office for East and Northeast Asia, $1.51 million US to the Asian and Pacific Training Center for ICT for Development, APC-ICT, $79,000 for other regional institutions, including APC, TT, CSEM, and CIAP. $1.25 million to ESCAP Technical Cooperation Trust Fund and Project. Mr. Chair, the Republic of Korea reaffirmed its commitment to inclusive and sustainable development and regional cooperation through its unwavering support to ESCAP's work. We recognize the importance of technical assistance and capacity development programs that enhance the technical and institutional capacity of members, and we are fully committed to contribute to effective implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in the region. Thank you, Chair.
I thank distinguished delegate from the Republic of Korea. And now I give the floor to the delegation of China. You have the floor.
谢谢主席先生。中方愿借此机会宣布2024年对 ESCAP 及相关附属机构捐款意向如下：一、中国将继续向中国 ESCAP 合作基金捐款100万美元和150万人民币。二、向联合国可持续农机中心捐款160万美元。三、向亚太统计研究所捐款7万美元。四、向亚太技术转移中心捐款2.7万美元。五、向亚太残疾人10年捐款1万美元。当前，中国与亚太各国一样，也面临经济增长压力和复苏重任。尽管面对各种困难，中国作为 ESCAP 第2大捐款国和持久贡献方，继续保持向 ESCAP 的捐款水平，充分体现了中方对 ESCAP 一如既往的支持，对促进亚太区域可持续发展合作的诚意。希望 ESCAP 及相关附属机构善用捐款，加强项目管理，提高资金效率，产出务实成果，为推进亚太可持续发展和经济复苏做出更大贡献。谢谢。
I thank distinguished delegate from China, and I give the floor to the delegation of India. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. India recognizes the important role ESCAP and its regional institutions play in assisting capacity building and other initiatives among member states to achieve the 2030 Agenda. India reaffirms its commitment to regional cooperation in tackling shared challenges across the Asia-Pacific region to realize the SDGs. In alignment with this commitment, we are pleased to announce that India pledges the following amounts: $79,000 to South and Southwest Asia Sub-Regional Office of ESCAP in New Delhi, $870,000 to Asian and Pacific Center for Transfer of Technology, $15,000 to Center for Sustainable Agriculture Mechanization, $25,000 to Statistical Institute of Asia and Pacific. I thank you, Mr. Chair.
I thank distinguished delegate from India, and now I give the floor to the delegation of the United States of America. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The United States values the role of ESCAP in the region in facilitating cooperation. We are pleased to announce a new junior professional officer in ESCAP's Information Communications and Technology Division. This new officer will work on cross-sectoral tech and policy issues, ranging from digital infrastructure and connectivity to e-governance platforms digital public infrastructure, and best practices in the use of artificial intelligence. Also in September of 2023, the United States was proud to announce a $400,000 UN ESCAP project to reduce transboundary air pollution through local, national, and sub-regional policy interventions, and to address sources of pollution contributing to common airsheds. The initiative will conduct an analysis of air pollution data, including remote sensing, machine learning, geospatial satellite imagery, and meteorological data. Thank you.
I thank distinguished U.S. delegation. Would any other delegation like to take the floor on this agenda item? I see none. This brings us to the conclusion of agenda item 5B. And I would like to thank all delegations for their pledges. These valuable contributions will help the ESCAP Secretariat and its regional institutions implement their mandates and provide assistance to members and associate members of the Commission. We shall now take up agenda item 5C on the evaluation activities of the Commission during the biennium 2022-2023. I now open the floor for comments. Okay, I do not see any interventions. This brings us to the conclusion of agenda item 5C. We shall now take up agenda item 5D on the evaluation of the Asian and Pacific Center for Transfer of Technology. I now open the floor for comments. Would any delegations like to take the floor? I recognize the delegation of India. You have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We thank the Secretariat for presenting the report on evaluation of EPCTT. India appreciates the effort of UN ESCAP for undertaking the evaluation of the center for the 5 years period from 2019 to 2023. The evaluation report presented by the UN ESCAP Secretariat underscores the contribution of the center that it is making in science and technology, innovation, as well as technology cooperation and transfer ecosystem in some member states in Asia-Pacific region. India has been the host country of EPCTT since 1977. As a permanent member of the Governing Council, India has been fully supportive of EPCTT's endeavors in driving forward the science, technology, innovation agenda across Asia-Pacific region for realizing the Sustainable Development Goals. EPCTT is playing a pivotal role in fostering dialogue among member states and other stakeholders and in addressing complex and multidimensional challenges and to formulate strategies for their resolution. To give one example, the air pollution control project implemented by EPCTT stands as a state's testament of its commitment to help member states to tackle such complex challenges. As the host country, India remains committed to support EPCTT in implementing the recommendations given as part of the evaluation study, including prioritizing the implementation of the initiatives identified in the strategic plan of EPCTT for the year 2023 to 2027, including capacity building and knowledge sharing activities, and in their efforts to build enduring partnerships with member states and other international organizations. I thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving me this opportunity.
I thank distinguished delegate from India. Is any other delegation would like to take the floor on this agenda item? I see none. This brings us to the conclusion of agenda item 5D. Russian Federation, sorry, you have the floor.
Большое спасибо. Учитывая современные тенденции и траектории развития международного сотрудничества в сфере науки и техники, как никогда важно продвижение гармонизированного цифрового пространства научно-технического сотрудничества для эффективного взаимодействия между странами, двухстороннего и многостороннего обмена научными, технологическими, инновационными разработками, подготовки международных кадров и трансфера технологий. Российская Федерация считает необходимым развитие цифровых технологий в современных условиях ускоренной трансформации экономики государств АТР. Важную роль в этом контексте играет Азиатско-Тихоокеанский центр по передаче технологий, деятельность которого мы высоко ценим, носим свой вклад в его работу в качестве члена Совета управляющих. Спасибо.
I thank distinguished delegate from the Russian Federation. Any other comments? I see none. So we move on agenda item 6. So as Secretariat informed me, we're supposed to have the statement of the rapporteur of the advisory committee, His Excellency Mr. Juvencio de Jesus Martins, Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary and Permanent Representative of Timor-Leste to ESCAP. But he is not with us yet, and he is on his way here. He will join us in a few minutes. So at the moment we move to agenda item 7. Dates, venue, and theme topic of the 81st session of the Commission. Under this agenda item, the Commission is considering document ESCAP/80/26. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Lorenzo Santucci, Secretary of the Commission, to deliver an introductory statement. Please, you have the floor.
I thank you, Chair, and a very good morning to all distinguished delegates. The document you have before you, ESCAP/80/26, contains information concerning the proposed dates and venue for the 81st Commission session in 2025, as well as 2 proposals from the Secretariat for its theme topic. It is proposed that the 81st session be held from 21st to 25th of April 2025 at the United Nations Conference Center in Bangkok. With regard to the theme topic for the 81st session of the Commission, after deliberations among Member States within the informal working group on draft resolutions, Member States have decided that the 81st session of the Commission be guided by the theme Regional Cooperation for Resilient and Sustainable Urban Development in Asia and the Pacific. The Commission is therefore requested to confirm the recommendations for both the proposed dates and proposed theme topic for the 81st session, as contained in the draft decision 14 in document ESCAP/80/L2. We would like to remind all delegates that the draft decisions were circulated to all Member States under the silence procedure and that no objections were raised. I thank you, Chair.
I thank Mr. Santucci and would like to open the floor to delegates for statement under agenda item 7. I would like to remind all speakers to adhere to the time limit of 3 minutes. The floor is open. Any delegations? Would like to take the floor? I see none. So with this, we conclude our discussion on agenda item 7. Now we shall proceed to consider agenda item 8, other matters. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, it is my pleasure to report on behalf of the Bureau on the status of credentials of representatives of members to the 80th session of the Commission in accordance with Rule 12 of the Rules of Procedure of the Commission. The Chair and the Vice Chairs of the 80th Commission session examined the credentials of representatives of 47 Member States submitted in accordance with Rule 11 of the Rules of Procedure of the Commission and found them to be in order. The Bureau decided to defer any action on the credentials pertaining to the representatives of Myanmar at the 80th Commission session, pending a decision by the General Assembly on the representation of Myanmar and in line with General Assembly Resolution 396-5 of 14th December 1950, acknowledging the report of the Credentials Committee of the General Assembly at its 78th session. May I take it that it is the wish of the Commission to take note of the report of the Chair and Vice Chairs? I see no objections. It is so decided. Turning to other matters, would any delegation wish to take the floor on any pertinent matter that has not been covered during the course of our deliberations? I see no delegations asking the floor. So we will wait for His Excellency, Ambassador Martins of Timor-Leste to consider agenda item 6. I was informed that he is already in the building of ESCAP, so let us wait him for a few minutes. Thank you. So we shall now take up agenda item 6 on the activities of the Advisory Committee of Permanent Representatives and other representatives designated by members of the Commission. Under this agenda item, we are considering document ESCAP/82/25 entitled Report of the Advisory Committee of Permanent Representatives and other representatives designated by members of the Commission. I would like to invite the rapporteur of the Advisory Committee, His Excellency Mr. Juvencio de Jesus Martins, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary and Permanent Representative of Timor-Leste to ESCAP, to present the report of the ACPR to the Commission. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. I'm honored to introduce to you today the report of the Advisory Committee of Permanent Representatives and other representatives designated by members of the Commission on its activities since the last session of the Commission in May 2023 until March of this year. As you know, the Commission, in its resolution 78/2, had entrusted the Advisory Committee with several functions, including strengthening close cooperation and consultation between Member States and the Secretariat, serving as a deliberative forum for substantive exchange of views, and providing guidance on the formulation of the ESCAP agenda, as well as advising the Executive Secretary on the program of work and preparation for the Commission and its subsidiary committees. In the elapsed time since the last session of the Commission, the Committee has done just that. The Advisory Committee held 6 regular sessions during the past year. In addition, the Advisory Committee convened its informal working group on draft resolution, which was chaired by Ms. Julia Finney, Minister and Deputy Head of Mission and Permanent Representative of Australia to ESCAP, and Ms. Kataleya Fatumoros, Deputy Director General and Deputy Permanent Representatives of Thailand to ESCAP, to negotiate the draft resolutions and decisions before their submissions to this session of the Commission for formal adoption. Chair, allow me to highlight a few key activities of the Advisory Committee during the period under review from document ESCAP/80/25 placed before you. The Advisory Committee reviewed the outcome of the 79th session of the Commission and provided advice and guidance on the implementation of the resolutions adopted at that session. The Advisory Committee reviewed the preparations made by the Secretariat for the current 18th sessions of the Commission. Members of the Advisory Committee also closely reviewed preparation for and outcomes of a broad range of meetings convened by ESCAP in several sectoral streams, including disaster risk reduction, energy, macroeconomic policy, poverty reduction, and financing for development, social development, and urban development. Furthermore, the Advisory Committee reviewed the preparation for the 11th Asia-Pacific Forum on Sustainable Development and the Asia-Pacific Ministerial Conference on Digital Inclusion and Transformation. The Advisory Committee also examined the outcomes of the sessions of the governing councils of the regional institutions of ESCAP. Throughout the year, the Executive Secretary of ESCAP regularly informed the Advisory Committee of activities relating to the priority issues of the United Nations and of ESCAP, and outcomes of her virtual participations and engagements in major meetings, cooperations between Member States and the Secretariat, and administrative and program matters concerning ESCAP. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, to sum up, Advisory Committee provided valuable advice and guidance to the Secretariat in the past year while remaining conscious of the importance of monitoring the implementation of Commission resolutions and improving coordination among all relevant stakeholders, pursuing the economic, social, and environmental agenda of ESCAP. As the rapporteur of the ACPR, it is my honor to hereby submit for consideration by the Commission the report of the Advisory Committee of Permanent Representatives and other representatives designated by members of the Commission. I look forward to comments from the meeting and would be pleased to entertain any questions here there might be. Thank you.
I thank His Excellency Ambassador Martins. And now I open the floor for comments on agenda item 6. I see Japan. Delegation of Japan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'd like to thank the Secretariat for preparing the report for this agenda item. The government of Japan believes that it's essential that the program plan, the oversight on its delivery, review of the evaluation results should be subject to adequate consideration by ACPR members in accordance with the ACPR tour to ensure transparency and fairness towards all member states before its delivery and adoption at ECOSOC and the General Assembly. We'd also like to note that implementation of paragraph 7 of the conference document ESCAP 80/25 is exceptionally important, noting that only the timeline was presented and requests compliance with each item listed in Appendix 3 of the ACPR's tour, Resolution 78/2, and relevant rules of procedure. This principle of transparency, accountability, and governance oversight should be applied and adhered to in all functions of ESCAP and its subsidiary bodies, including the sub-regional and regional offices in all procedures for the effective discharge of the technical responsibilities laid upon them as per Rule 57. Thank you.
I thank distinguished delegate from Japan. China, you have the floor.
谢谢主席。过去1年，常驻代表咨询委员会定期举办会议，就 ESCAP 重要会议、ESCAP 秘书处工作等问题进行沟通协调，积极推动有关决议和区域行动计划落实。中方赞赏直密定期出席 ACPR 会议，并通告情况，肯定秘书处对 ACPR 成员的支持。 也赞赏 ACPR 成员建设性的合作。中方期待 ACPR 成员及 ESCAP 秘书处加强沟通合作，推动 ACPR 切实发挥作用，加强各成员之间的沟通，推动 ESCAP 各项工作落实。中方支持 ESCAP 继续履行职责，发挥区域经济社会发展合作平台的作用。 为促进亚太可持续发展做出更大贡献，谢谢。
I thank distinguished delegate from China. I now give the floor to the delegation of Fiji. You have the floor.
Chair, thank you very much. We would also like to place on record our appreciation to the Secretariat for the report that they've just tabled for us in terms of the work of the ACPR. And from the Pacific perspectives, our participation is critical in order to contribute to the discussions on the mandate of ESCAP, particularly in fostering sustainable development in the region, particularly in the vulnerable groups of countries, including the Pacific Seas. I would like to stress once again here, Chair, that the process needs to be inclusive, and we thank the Secretary, in their attempt, even trying to make sure that our participations are made in all the proceedings of ESCAP. And we would like to request the Secretary to continue to do that. As of now, none of the Pacific member states are resident here or located in Bangkok. Fiji is located in Jakarta, and the others are from capital. Papua New Guinea is located from Kuala Lumpur, and the others are from capital. So the understanding of the ACPR member states in terms of our participation is always appreciated, particularly during negotiations where Fiji normally does the heavy lifting for our group. Your support is always appreciated. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
I thank distinguished delegate from Fiji. As I see no further requests to speak, I conclude discussion on agenda item 6. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, this brings us to the conclusion of this morning's session. We will now break and reconvene this afternoon at 14 hours sharp to finalize agenda item 9 on the adoption of the report of the Commission. Just before we proceed with the break, may I call on the Secretary of the Commission to make an announcement.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, in preparation for this afternoon, I would like to remind all delegates that the documents pertaining to agenda item 9, adoption of the report, which we will consider this afternoon at 14 hours, including the draft report, the draft resolutions and decisions, are available already on the password-protected website of the Advisory Committee of Permanent Representatives, and the credentials to access the website have been communicated to all seats of government, but should you require assistance with the access, please contact your liaison officer. In terms of evaluation, again, just another reminder that to encourage all those delegations that have not completed the evaluation questionnaire to please take a few minutes to do that. You can see the QR code here on the slides, and the same information is provided on the overview page of the Commission website. As we mentioned, your feedback is really important for us to improve the quality of our services and the support we provide to delegations. So thank you in advance for your time, for the valuable feedback. Last but not least, I would like to remind all delegates that during the lunch break today, there's still a number of side events organized by our member states and partners. And you can see the list here on the slides on the screen. These events are open to all delegates, and most of them are also in a hybrid format, so some participants may also be able to attend online. The details of all side events are available on the Commission website as usual, and we look forward to your participation. Thank you, Chair.
I thank Secretariat. The meeting is now adjourned.